I have two beefs when it comes to the words sober and sobriety. Beef number one is the actual meaning of the word sober. It means solemn, serious, what we would all interpret as boring. And a lot of people fear getting sober, whether it's from smoking weed, alcohol, pills, whatever it is. Their fear is that life is going to become very serious and very boring. And I know for me, after quitting nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content, substances I once struggled with, sobriety for me has been anything but boring. Maybe with the exception of the first few months, or that first few months of early sobriety as I was going through detox, withdrawal, and kind of rebalancing. When I was stoned all the time, when I was under the influence of drugs, okay, life was boring. Addiction and the consequences of addiction, negative impact on my physical health, negative impact on my relationships, negative impact on my financial health. In my case, those consequences of addiction actually led to a very, very boring life for me. And then what I would do is say, oh my God, I'm so bored. I just have to smoke weed to entertain myself. I just have to drink alcohol to entertain myself. And this is where I'm kind of known in my videos for saying weed wasn't curing the boredom, it was making me content with being bored. And it was the very thing, i.e. weed, alcohol, drugs, that were keeping me bored that I thought were the solution to my boredom. And that's the crazy part about the delusion of addiction and the way that addiction can make some people think or manipulate them into thinking. And ever since getting sober, my life has become a lot more eventful. More money to go do more things. Stronger relationships, got married, had a kid, one of the best things ever. Better physical health, so I actually have the energy and the time and the mental capacity to go do new and exciting things. I started to gain interest again in my businesses, interest again in various different hobbies, even something as basic as learning how to go enjoy a walk outside without being stoned. That's actually very exciting. And if you're been under the influence of addiction for a while, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's my first beef with sobriety, because the meaning of the word solemn, serious, grave, moderate, I'm none of those things. I'm not a solemn, serious, grave person. I never have been and I never will be. I wasn't in active addiction and I'm not in quote unquote sobriety. Sobriety for me has been anything but boring. If that were not the case, I would have returned back to doing drugs. Remember, I'm focused on helping people quit drugs to improve their quality of life, not to take away from it. If quitting drugs had taken away from my quality of life, I would have gone back to doing drugs. That's another beef I have with sobriety as well. A lot of times this concept of sobriety, I think, and maybe in some people it does, people are under the impression that it comes from some moral or ethical high ground. That certainly was not the case for me, and that's certainly not what I talk about in my programs. It's not, oh, I am more sober than now, I am cleaner than now. It's, look, I made a series of decisions to improve my quality of life. Those decisions involved not drinking alcohol, not smoking weed, not watching pornography, not consuming nicotine. In my case, those were the decisions that I made. And it wasn't out of some place of trying to be better than other people or this or that or superior. It was just those things did not vibe well in my life as I got older, as my environment changed, as my circumstances changed. That's all it is. So it's not coming from some superior high ground, which I think a lot of times people either act like it is or they think that's what people who are quote unquote sober are acting from. Now, my last beef with sobriety, and this is maybe my biggest beef, is I'm sober, not sober, okay? And what I mean by that is this. You guys know on my channel, because I've promoted the heck out of it, I have a supplement. It contains KSM 66, ashwagandha, and acetylcysteine. It's a chewing gum. This isn't about the supplement though. And when I promote it, I don't care when people bash it, but sometimes people are like, oh my God, you're not sober. You're still using a supplement to help you out. You take creatine when you exercise. That's not sober. You do this, you do that. And I want to make it very clear, because maybe I've done a poor job on my channel of doing so. I don't think anyone in life operates as a robot. I say maybe with the exception of a Buddhist monk who's cut off from most of the world, most social media, and they're just focused on meditations all day long. I don't know if that's actually what Buddhist monks do, but I think it is pretty intense. If you are living in 2024 and you have a cell phone and you have access to entertainment and you have access to drugs and you have access to society, to life in general, chances are you are going to have something that you are addicted to. And when I say I'm sober, not sober, what I'm referring to is I'm not perfect. I'm not infallible in my behaviors or my actions. I browse social media somewhat too often. I've occasionally slipped up on watching pornography. It's not an everyday thing like it once was, but it might happen once a month, twice a month. Very infrequent. I'm not happy about it, but it happens. If someone offered me, if I was at an event and someone had a cigar, and if I really, really wanted to have a cigar, I would have a cigar. If I really wanted to smoke weed again, I would smoke weed. If I really wanted to have a drink of alcohol, I would have a drink of alcohol. I'm not against that stuff. I'm not against moderation. What I'm trying to explain on my channel is, with the life that I've created, I have not had a circumstance where I've wanted to smoke weed, where I've wanted to drink alcohol, where I've wanted to try and moderate a substance that I don't see it adding any value to my life at this point. If I felt that weed or alcohol or any one of those things would add value to my life, then I would maybe investigate moderating it. And because I've unsubscribed from the idea of being a person who's diseased, who has this incurable illness called addiction, who is completely out of their right mind when it comes to decision making, I unsubscribed from that years ago, and that was probably the biggest thing I unsubscribed from when it came to my sobriety. Doing those actions wouldn't concern me anymore. What I'm saying is I've built a lifestyle where those things aren't necessary, and I do kind of find enjoyment in challenging myself when it comes to sobriety. Like if there is an instance where I want to do something, I actually enjoy the challenge of saying no and exercising a level of discipline and dedication and commitment to myself. I actually find that enjoyable now. When I first got sober, that wasn't so enjoyable. It was kind of painful. But now I find that like a neat thing. It's kind of like someone challenges himself in the gym or challenges himself running. So that's the thing about me though. I take supplements, okay? Full disclosure, okay? I have nothing wrong with taking something that I feel would enhance my quality of life. I'm addicted to working out. I'm addicted to making YouTube videos. I'm addicted to my businesses. It's human nature to have addictive tendencies. It's human nature to chase dopamine. That's what's put us on top of the food chain. So when people shame people for having an addiction, for having a crutch, for having this urge to chase dopamine, which is what all of social media is about now, or at least in the self-help and motivational spaces it is. Don't chase dopamine, don't do this, don't do that. It's human nature, it's human instinct to do those things. What are you going to do? Just wither up and rot away and just be completely in a dopamine deficit and not chase anything, lose all your ambition and all your will? That's ludicrous to me. And I actually worry that I've talked so much about sobriety and recovery on my channel, using terms that I don't even like using. I honestly use them for SEO purposes. I worry that I'm losing the original message in my videos and in my communication. I am all about helping a person improve their quality of life. I happen to be very good at that when it comes to helping people navigate or completely stop substance use. That is my sole goal. I don't actually care about sobriety. I don't care about sober. I don't care about recovery because I unsubscribed from all those things a long time ago. I'm a guy that had a problem. I fixed the problem, and now I'm living my life as I see fit. And that's exactly what I want for you guys. That's exactly what I want people here to do on this channel and what I want people to embrace. And the last thing I'll say too, I guess I have one more beef with the sober community, and it's this. It's this idea that sober has to be perfect. It doesn't, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. There's people who can be addicted to weed and go back to moderating weed. There's people that could drink alcohol that could moderate alcohol at one point in life. It's rare, but it happens. People are capable of that with a major shift in mindset. I've seen it. I'm not encouraging it. It's not what I preach on my channel, but it happens. And for people to shame people and be like, oh, well, you're addicted to working out, you're addicted to business, you're addicted to your faith-based community. These are great things for someone to be addicted to if it's improving their quality of life. But the sober community, the recovery community, is very, very quick to jump down one another's throats when it comes to this stuff. And if you guys have been following me for a long time, my original logo on my channel was a hyena, and it had hyena teeth, AddictionMindset. And the reason I had it as a hyena was because those are one of the few species that will actually attack their own. Like, they'll eat their cubs, they'll attack each other in the same clan. And this sober community is very, very much like that. The sobriety community, the recovery community, it's very opinionated, it's very down each other's throats. And that's not what this is about. That's not what my message is about. And I am worried that I'm falling into that space. So I'm trying to make this video crystal clear that I'm not perfect. I don't strive to be perfect. I don't do X, Y, and Z substances. I might slip up on porn. I might slip up and eat junk food. That's okay with me, because those things at this point in my life, they don't derail my life. They're disappointments. They're a blow to my ego, right? I didn't want to do that. Why did I do that? It's a blow to my self-promises. But objectively on paper, it derails nothing. It changes nothing in my life at this point. And that's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up for that. So I hope you guys are taking something away from this message, because I talk to so many people that call me and they're like, I quit weed, and I got to quit video games, and I got to quit social media, and I got to quit porn, and I got to quit eating sugar, and I got to quit overspending money. Everyone does something that they mess up. And I'm going to tie in a little bit of religion here, even though my channel is not religious, just a basic concept of it. In theory, we were born into this world, and this world is tarnished. We are not infallible to that. We are going to be tarnished. If you got a cell phone in 2024, you're gonna get into some type of trouble. It's guaranteed, okay? Whether it's spending, gambling, buying something you shouldn't buy, watching something you shouldn't watch, getting just sucked into your phone, it's gonna happen. We're not infallible to mistakes, and this is the idea of religion to some extent, for those of you guys who subscribe to it. We're gonna sin. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna do things like that. We're not infallible. And then you can take the religion aspect of, that's why Jesus died on the cross, or whatever your religion is, for your sins, whatever it may be, okay? That doesn't mean you keep doing them over and over again and you don't try and improve, but it means that you're also not going to destroy yourself for making mistakes and trying to set standards of perfection. And that's where this self-help community has gone, and I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of the message of perfection at all. It doesn't exist. I know influencers on the online world. I know a lot of these. I know bigger creators, okay? I've talked with them, okay? I'm in this space. It's not what you think it is. It's not perfect in the way that you think it is. The fitness guy isn't always at the gym as much as he says he is. The sober guy isn't as sober as he says he is. The religious guy isn't as faithful or as religious as you think they are. The motivational speaker isn't as motivated as you think they are. And you can see this when you start to look into some of these people's personal life decisions, okay? But I think a lot of people are comparing themselves to people online. They're coming up with the idea of perfection. Sobriety must be perfection. I have to be a robot. And then they just wind up getting in their own head, overthinking and screwing themselves over. I hope this video helps someone out. It was a massive rant that I went on, and I hope I was clear enough in what it was I'm saying. Now, if any of that appeals to you, download our free 100-page ebook on how to quit smoking weed or quit nicotine. It's in the pinned comment or the video description. Or if you need help with coaching, we have our one-on-one coaching programs, and then we have our Addiction Mindset Recovery community. If you smoke, if you don't smoke, if you drink, if you don't drink, if you're trying to moderate, if you're trying to quit cold turkey, I don't care. We'll help you get there inside the community. It's a great community of people. It's a monthly membership. Go ahead and check that stuff out in the pinned comment or the video description. Until next time, good luck, guys.